Welcome to this session on our hybrid cloud and multi-cloud environments here for the long term. What is the key to successful migration and management? So an overview for what we'll cover in this session is a little bit about hybrid cloud, a bit about multi-cloud, why either or, the future, what we perceive that to be, and what would make up a good migration plan for hybrid or multi-cloud, and successful management strategies. So moving straight into it then, and into hybrid cloud, I guess typically it's mixed of two cloud environments, has elements of public and private, and may also include on-premise infrastructure. I think when we, or when I Googled this, ChatGPT'd it, asked peers around the business and elsewhere, I think most people have got the same understanding or idea of what hybrid cloud is. I think the statement that kind of got it for me was to take two different infrastructures, bring those together, to support a business's services and applications. I think a typical example of that would be a business runs all their applications such as ERP, databases, sort of SQL or MySQL, whatever that flavor may be. When they may keep that stuff on-premise or in a private cloud, but then they might utilize another cloud to sort of blend that infrastructure, such as public, to kind of have that scalability, agility to use web service, load balancing, and get that global scale, global reach. So what we see is the benefits is as sort of mentioned there, seamless scalability. Hybrid cloud delivers scalability while reducing demand on, on-premise or private cloud. As mentioned there, where you could use that burstability to sort of scale out. We think that you can get superior security by utilizing hybrid cloud, get the best of both by utilizing the more advanced features that the public cloud might offer, along with what is known and tried and tested with your private on-prem sort of environments. Cost efficiency, I think this one's key, and this one comes up quite a lot with our customers, and it's really about not overspending and controlling costs, but getting the best out of what they're using, but without getting this done with a large bill. So if you have a predictable known infrastructure, you typically put that in a static environment. When I say static, but more like a bespoke, a private environment, and then you could look at using public cloud for using effective like quick scaling for e-commerce. If you needed to hit Black Friday and you needed to add more web service, more load balancing, you could utilize some of that advanced technology without having a big CapEx cost up front. So those are sort of tricks and things that people are looking at to optimize against the cost efficiency. Business agility kind of covered that really, but again, if the business changes or requirements change, or there's a new strategy in place, new drivers which wants, for example, expand into a new global area, again, by using hybrid and adapting some of the advantages of cloud, you can scale and be more agile and respond to those changes and requirements. And again, adapting new technology. And I think the most common one we see nowadays is everyone's interested in doing some machine learning, AI, to see how it can affect and advance and give them enrichment of their data. But there's a massive investment in that up front. Obviously, cloud providers can offer that service, give you access. It will be quite expensive, but it gives you, without that CapEx, a way to access these technologies, use them, develop them, see what value they bring, and then maybe you can look at where best suited that might be. So that's hybrid cloud. So moving on to multi-cloud. Some say it's very similar, or is similar, or is the same. Again, ChatGPT and Google and colleagues have quite a similar response to this. But I think, again, for me, just as a statement, they use this multiple cloud providers, may or may not include a private cloud component. The thing I liked about this one, and the one that I stuck with me, was slight difference, I would say, between that and hybrid, whereas hybrid tends to be just the two. Multi-cloud can be two or more. But you sometimes find that a specific cloud is used for a specific service rather than taking two and blending it and providing it for the whole business. So things like Salesforce 365, obviously the sort of SaaS offerings. But then you might have part of the business function that wants to use AWS for development for that part of the business, and they'll just solely use that. And then that would be the cloud there. Then you'd have a private cloud that might look after your ERP system, your CRM, that sort of stuff in-house or within the private cloud. So again, it's sort of having those different clouds and utilising the best of what they can offer, which kind of moves us on to the benefits of the combination of different cloud provider solutions. Again, the benefit there is just getting the best that each one would offer. By doing that, you become vendor agnostic and platform agnostic. You become au fait in the different offerings that are there, which then helps prevent vendor lock-in and cloud concentration. Again, we're seeing a lot of that with our customers looking to diversify. They don't want to be held or locked into a single scenario, and I think that's all about then the risk mitigation. You know, if there is challenges or changes or even price increases, you know, how can a business adjust to those and make sure that it doesn't affect them negatively? So, what our industry experts have to say, and a lovely picture there of one of our co-founders, Jake, at Hyve, with a great smile. What we have is we've got a couple of articles that we really like, and they are the predictions of hybrid and multi-cloud. One is from 10 predictions from Forbes, Gartner, and Deloitte experts, and Bernard Marr is the author. Essentially, statement we like that's within that article is hybrid and multi-cloud strategies will be a must. The number of large organizations with a multi-cloud strategy is predicted to rise from 76% to 85% during 2024, so not long now. Find that quite interesting because that's quite a high percentage, but I think it kind of goes back to utilizing the best cloud that gives you the best service rather than sitting with one and sort of being a diehard with that one platform only, which one of these articles kind of covers that as well. And then the second one, which is from 451 Research, which states that 98% of enterprises used in public cloud have adopted a multi-cloud infrastructure provider strategy. So on to the future of hybrid and multi-cloud solutions. So what is the long-term outlook for hybrid and multi-cloud and the benefits of both? So we see that cloud infrastructure is obviously now well established with businesses across sectors using cloud solutions for more or all of their workloads. Companies will be looking to de-risk, avoiding vendor lock-in and cloud concentration risks. We do see now with customers asking us for advice on diversifying, as previously mentioned. Hybrid and multi-cloud solutions will become more common in long term to diversify and minimize risk and navigate the cost of clouds. I think the ability to migrate in and out of cloud providers is central. And there will be more focus on that with exit strategies. Businesses will avoid companies that make it hard to leave with challenges such as storage and egress charges. As we well know, that's a massive challenge for a lot of customers. As we know, data has gravity. It's hard to move data. It's hard to have replicas, and it comes at a cost. I think tools such as Terraforms, your Kubernetes, Ansible, all of those automation tools that can decouple you from the specific platforms you use and help you use a declarative model will help you avoid vendor lock-in. So what do we think about successful hybrid and multi-cloud migration? What do we need to consider? So business goals and objectives. Excuse me. So clearly define and understand your organization's business goals and objectives for adopting a hybrid and multi-cloud strategy. Align the migration plan with broader business strategies and priorities. If global expansion is a requirement, how will this be achieved? Where will your data reside? Workload assessments. Conduct a thorough assessment of your existing workloads to determine which are suitable for migration to the cloud and which might not be, which might be better placed on premise or even in private bespoke solution. Examples would be known and predictable against your more agile. Analyze of where to migrate to and from. The key to successful migration depends on planning and starting small. Look at an exit strategy. There are tools to support migrating into a new platform, but once you're in, it is now a challenge to migrate out. As mentioned, data has gravity, and that's a term that I hear a lot. So consider your exit strategy when migrating to a new provider or platform. And that moves on to the fundamentals of cloud infrastructure. It's more of an architectural point of view, but we do start looking at the network, the storage, the security. And I think when we do that, we have to start looking at the different ends of the scale with that, where I like to start with users and at the other end, data. So where is this data? What sort of data? Where does it come from? Who needs to access it? Does it move a lot? What is the security around it that it needs? And recovery options to protect that data. And then the users. How many users have we got? Where are they? What kind of access do they need? What sort of tools do they use? And then we can kind of move inwards from that point onwards to say, what devices do they use? What applications, against a bit around the tools to access the data? What applications? And then what network do we need to provide to support the connectivity between the different environments, the different users, the applications and the data? And then obviously wrapping around the security. And then lastly, consider looking at a bespoke, unique elements to the solution. I think that what we do at Hyve and what we like to design against is look at the 80-20 rule. We know that most businesses hit this 80% where, you know, we are looking at storage, we are looking at compute. We know you need all of these elements, but the 20% we hone in on and look at the very specific detail that is valid for your business. So moving on, we think management is key. It plays a crucial role in the success of hybrid and multi-cloud deployments. And here is a few reasons why we think effective management is key. So we think auditing strategy is number one here. When working with hybrid and multi-cloud systems, aligning IT strategy and overall business objectives is essential. The selected cloud approach should support and improve the organization's strategic goals. Therefore, before transitioning to hybrid or multi-cloud architecture, the company should audit its current infrastructure and develop a comprehensive new strategy. Look at resource and cost optimization. Effective management involves optimizing resource allocation and ensuring the workloads are placed in the most appropriate environment based on factors like performance requirements, cost considerations, and data sensitivity. The same applies to cost optimization and cost control, which includes monitoring resource usage and implementing cost-saving measures. Performance monitoring. Management oversees the monitoring of performance across environments. This includes tracking the health of applications, infrastructure and services to ensure optimal performance and responsiveness. Integration and interoperability. The team that is managing the hybrid and public cloud architecture should oversee the seamless integration of on-premise and cloud resources. They need to ensure that applications and services can communicate effectively across different environments, minimizing disruption and enhancing overall efficiency. And expertise. Ensure you work with a team with the right expertise and extend into an MSP if there are any gaps. Excuse me. So why work with an MSP? MSPs have specialized expertise in managing diverse cloud environments. They stay abreast of the latest technologies and best practices and industry trends, providing valuable insights and guidance during the implementation and ongoing management of hybrid cloud setups. MSPs can offer strategic guidance by aligning cloud strategies and business goals. They can recommend optimizing infrastructure and selecting the appropriate services. Resource efficiency. MSPs can help optimize utilization by efficiently managing workloads, monitoring performance, and implementing cost-saving measures. This can lead to better cost control and more effective use of cloud resources. Risk mitigation. MSPs can help mitigate risk associated with cloud management, including security vulnerabilities and compliance issues and unexpected disruptions. They often have established security practices and protocols to enhance the overall security posture of hybrid and multi-cloud environments. And speed of deployment. MSPs with their experience and established process can accelerate the deployment of hybrid and multi-cloud solutions, and this can be crucial in rapidly evolving businesses landscapes where quick adaptation to new technologies is essential when done right. And obviously the last two, around 24 hours and 7 days a week, 365 days a year, or 366 next year, so we don't leave out that leap year day. Monitoring and support, of course, is critical, and obviously compliance and governance management and support. So I think my summary on this is just, the future is big for cloud and hybrid cloud, but definitely look at planning and putting in the right strategies in place at first. So thank you for your attention and any questions.
Thanks so much, Daren. I hope that hasn't done too much of a number on your throat. I'm really sorry, but thank you for struggling through. Before I let you run away and grab a lemsip and do some decongestants, I've just got a couple of questions before we move on to our next session. So I know you talked a bit about, obviously, the cloud landscape has changed massively over the last years. I feel like I'm saying that about everything, but it really has. So do you think, with all these terms, multi-cloud, hybrid cloud, public cloud, do you think there's a bit of fatigue when it comes to people about not wanting to approach their cloud strategy or fix a problem just because there's so many terms going around and they don't know where to start?
Yes, I definitely think it can be overwhelming. Like when you do Google, when you do ChatGPT, when you do ask other people, I think you end up in rabbit holes where you kind of find more questions than answers. And I think a lot of terminology helps blur those lines. I think when you just come back to the basics and look at those fundamentals around your applications, your users, your data, things start to become quite clear and quite straightforward, but it does take that strategy and planning. But absolutely agree with that statement, yeah.
And do you think, obviously, people's needs are going to change, as a business changes? What's kind of the best way, obviously, this forward planning, but to anticipate what your needs are going to be and avoid cloud wastage and avoid that wasted, money when money is, always going to be the most important thing you're considering?
Always work with what you know. Obviously, might sound a bit obvious there, but look at you can look at a business. When we look at customers, talk to customers, they always have this. We've got this system, this ERP system, CRM system, and it is this, and they know that, and that's very predictable, and they know what that's looked like over a period of time. Then they have this goals and strategies where they want to adopt more newer technology, want to use Power BI to get some intelligence from the data. I think when you look at it like that, you can say, well, how much can we put in the known pool? Which like I said, I mentioned a number there earlier. It usually sits around this 80% of the known. Mm-hmm. And then once you look at that 20%, it's where's best placed. And if it is this agile approach, if there's a lot of unknown and not sure what to do with certain elements, maybe look at some of those features that cloud providers can provide with you to give you access, so you can try, you can develop, you can look at these things without a massive investment. Like I said, start small and always start with something, but don't before too long, look at the smaller milestones and the smaller chunks to think. Before too long, it can get overwhelming. It can be a big task, and it never goes anywhere. And you get that scared approach to it to want to do anything.
So don't try to run before you can crawl.
Yeah.
And I know, again, it's something that's bandied about, but there has been this, huge increase in cloud over the last few years. Do you think over the next sort of 10 years or so that's going to continue that trend, or are we going to be looking at more repatriation to on-premises data centers? What's the sort of next 10 years going to look like?
Very okay.
Yeah, I know. It's in your opinion, and this very difficult question.
Absolutely. I think it's a funny question because we see both. We see a lot of customers that go, we need to get this under control, and we don't have it. And therefore, what we'd want to do is move a whole bunch over to your private cloud. You do a bespoke solution that can be exactly what we need, and we can look at if they want to expand, we grow as with them. But it's designed for what they want. Then we have other customers that want to get rid of compute in a server room, in an office, that type of thing, and multiple storage. So then they'll come to us to say, we want to use Azure for some service in there, but you also want to get rid of this data center, but we don't want to move all of that into Azure because of these reasons. So I think initially, I thought when I was looking at this question, and what I'd actually seen more commonly and more recently, I've seen lots coming out of public cloud, but reading a lot of articles and reading where the value is and things like ML and AI and some of these more advanced stuff, that's still going to grow. We get people that ask us, can they have a lot of space, a lot of power to run hundreds of compute nodes with AI machine learning cards in it because they want to deploy it themselves. So it is a mix. It really does depend. But we have seen a lot of customers want to move certain loads back up where they've, I guess, probably gone full throttle in cloud first strategy, but chosen one and moved everything in one and not really got the best value out of it. So does that answer your question?
Yes, I was going to say, yeah. And just to ask another very difficult question to ask, but obviously AI, it's been permeated through almost every discussion we've had over the last couple of days. It's everyone's thinking about it. So what, again, as far as you can say, what kind of impact is AI going to have?
Depends how you use it. I think, when I was, I guess, toying around with it and working with it in pieces, I did a lot of the cognitive stuff. So in this, a lot about looking at text and reading or looking at picture images and things like that. You see it, we've been doing it for ages, to be fair. When your bank prompts you to say, is this really you trying to spend this money, and you have to prove it's you, that's the type of machine learning where you're looking at anomaly detection. Security products use that a lot. We've seen F1 companies use it where they're racing their cars around, taking metrics, and then when they see that there's a half a second difference or even smaller, they're like, well, what caused that? And then they use anomaly detection. I think at a smaller scale, businesses just want to look at their data and say, what does this mean? We've possibly sold this over 5 years. it was good this one year, it wasn't so good this year? Was there things that affected that data or what we were doing particularly different there? Being able to get that enrichment. So I think I mentioned Power BI was a good tool. It's easily accessible, but there are obviously a load of others. But, where you just take a lot of raw data and you choose, once you've cleaned it up, you kind of get some value out of it. So I think people are going to start looking at their use cases for it. People have wanted to do it for ages. Everyone's got a lot of data and it seems to always grow and no one wants to get rid of it. So there's value in there to be able to look at it. So I think that's where, that's where the value is for different people in business.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Daren. I'm going to let you go now. I really hope you feel a bit better, but thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.